We're just going to call this guy clearance because it's got so much clearance. So not only does this thing have some crazy clearance, we've got a brand new feature packed into this that we've never seen in an RTR before. This actually has a dig function, or as I like to call it, disengaging system, because we don't actually lock out the rear, but it does allow us to disengage the rear to where we're only pulling with the front. Now, I personally thought that this was going to be kind of useless, because if you're not fully locking that rear, a lot of times, if you don't have a good bite with the front to begin with, when you unlock the rear, the truck's just going to roll down. But I did find myself using it a lot more than I expected. Now, when I first seen this, I fell in love with the body. I love the honcho look, the cage on the back. The body's got plenty of clearance, so we're not getting hung up on it. We've got nice sliders along the edge here that keep the body tucked in. But I'm going to be honest with you, I was probably as excited about the tires on this as anything to do with this truck. So the Rovers have always been a favorite of mine. Somewhere around here, I still have my old 2.2 Rovers from like 15 years ago. It's one of those things like, I will never get rid of them, but I probably couldn't even use them now. They've sat around so long, they're probably dry rotted. But I did manage to pull out these 1.9s that I had on the old Capra 18 a while back. And I will never let these go either. So I was very excited about these Rover tires. And I'm going to say they did not disappoint at all. So I do have a ton of running footage on this. I don't have the home course run yet. I'm getting ready to go do that now. I will put that in another video because I know you guys are used to seeing these new trucks on the home course and kind of comparing what they're able to do. So we're going to get that in another video. But I had so much running footage of this out in the wild with running back-to-back with like an FCX24 and the Juice Up for a bit that I wanted to put all of that in here. So we're going to talk a little bit about it, one of the flaws I think it has, and then just put a ton of running footage in here for you guys to check out. Music free and just running, okay? So you can judge, you can see what it's doing, judge for yourself. I'm gonna make a couple little points and shut up. Let's talk about this half dig that they're calling this. I guess half dig is fitting because it only halfway does what a dig is supposed to do. When I power the truck on, it is in this mode where we're only pulling with the front. So you'll notice right now, we're just pulling with the front. And the rear is just free rolling. Now, once you tap your channel 3 button, when this light is on, you may have heard it, it engages the rear, and now we're pulling with all 4. We do have overdrive, and we're pulling with all 4. Tap that button, again, we're pulling with the front, the rear is just free coasting. That's what I'm talking about sometimes. If you're on a steep incline, and you haven't got a real good bite with your front, you'll just kind of roll off of it. So that's why I like a full dig where this is actually locking. Now this does help sometimes once you've got a little bit of bite that it can free coast and you can go ahead and kind of pull yourself up far enough to get this rear to bite and then click back into 4-wheel drive. There's some clips in there where I used that very well. It worked really well. So we'll show those and talk more about it. But it is just a free coasting rear end, but I was actually surprised that it worked so well out on the rocks. Now, I actually really like this TF706 transmitter that we've got. One of my favorite things, I mentioned it later in the running footage, is it comes with the thumb wheel. So I was able to film with my right hand, drive with the left hand, and still work the dig or disengaging function right here. So all of this one-handed and still being able to use that dig was very nice. Now up here we've got all of our dip switches and channel reversing and all of that. One thing I will say is turn your STDR knob all the way up. It's your steering throw or dual rate. Out of the box, mine was dialed down a decent little bit, and I felt like I just wasn't getting all of the steering that I could. Turn that up, much better. And you'll see, we've got quite a bit of wheel speed on this. This is just a single speed transmission. We're kind of using that dig function instead of the 2-speed, but great wheel speed, great crawl. So the body is on a hinge system. We just have this little tab on the back here as we're used to seeing on these trucks. You line that up and the body hinges up forward. And underneath here, we've got a brand new chassis, which I think they did a really good job on. For cramming this dig servo in here, everything is nice and low. Transmission is low. Motor is forward. That servo is low. Look at that. I mean, really low setup. So very LCG. Battery on the slider, ESC receiver on the sliders, just like I prefer to run mine. We've got a very nice angle on this skid. Lots of shock mounting options, front and rear. I mean, you could easily take this body off and throw some other body on here very easily if you wanted to. So very nice job on this chassis. Lots of upper link mount options. Lower link is on the skid, so we don't really have a lot of options there. But we do have some really nice high clearance links in the rear here. And I kind of like how these are set up. It follows the line of the drive shaft really well. So we've got all of that clearance, right? And I mean, a plastic link, I actually really like a good plastic link. Now, maybe they'll bend or break over time, but they slide very well. So this thing didn't get hung up a whole lot. It's a little wide in the belly here, but pretty nice and smooth. So we wasn't hung up a ton. Very nice job with this thing from top to bottom, in my opinion. A couple things to show you up underneath here. We do get these brass hex, which give us some weight down low. These are supposed to have a brass ring inside the wheel as well, so they've got a decent weight to them. I am going to add a little more weight to this because it did feel a little top heavy, a little bobbly at times. Maybe some oil in the shocks. They just don't feel like they really do much, or maybe we'll band them a bit to sort of squat this thing a little bit because it really just seems to set crazy high. But we do have tons of shock mounting options. And one thing you'll see here is we have this flex blade looking thing on the bottom. Now this doesn't act like a flex blade, but it gives us multiple mounting points for our lower shock mount. And then obviously we have all of the uppers. So we do have that on the front. The rear is just standard like we're normally seeing with the link here, but you do have some extra shock mounting on the front. Now this is bushings throughout. Honestly, these small crawlers, I don't really pay much attention to that. I mean, you can easily throw bearings in there if you want, maybe get a little smoother run out of it, but it doesn't really affect me that much. I've come to find out that's really not a huge issue to me. We do have metal drive shafts under here, which is nice. They're not a D-shaped drive shaft that fits the output shaft. So I did actually break one of the screws because when you put this in a bind or every time it takes a jolt like that, you're putting stress on the screw because it's not fitting around the shaft. So all of the stress is on the screw. No big deal. You break a screw, you throw a new screw in it. So it actually is kind of a weak point that seems to work out pretty well. So you're saying, well, that's cool, but what are the negatives here? All right, this is the main thing. And it kind of freaked me out when I took it out of the box because I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's going to be terrible. But watch the twist in this body. Watch the body roll to the driver's side as I'm driving forward. See that? As I go backwards, it goes the other way. Now I have kind of went through this. I didn't tear into the transmission or anything like that, but I've checked things like wheel nuts and all of that. Everything is good. I don't know why we're getting that much torque twist. The Fun Haver here does not have that. The only other thing is just the slop in the driveline. Now, I don't know if I've just kind of gotten used to all of this slop or what, because pretty much everything has it now. It didn't seem to bother me on the rocks at all. The only thing I really noticed is just how it seems like sometimes you'll be giving it throttle forever before you start to move. So see how many times that motor turns? Watch, if I'm just real easy on it, we're turning. Truck still hasn't started to move. Still not moving. Now we're moving. See that? Let's do it again. I'm trying to be still because I'm just holding this camera here, but all of that. Now we're moving. Crazy. I wanted to throw this quick clip in here of me going up this rock because a straight incline like this, a flat rock, is where you really notice torque twist the most. And you'll see here, the torque twist on this one is crazy. See how much we're lifting that driver's side tire? We're on 3 wheels right now. So I am able to get up this, or at least I was a minute ago, even though we are lifting that driver's side so much. So it's pretty impressive that it still climbs it, but we've got some crazy twist there. Now, I did want to mention on the transmitter, your channel 4, you'll also want to click that in when you go to crawl, because if you don't have that on, you'll see we don't really have a full hold. So we get a rollback. So without that, you're going to get that rollback. So you click that channel 4 and it'll give you more of a hold. And then if you click in that dig, you can see there how we kind of slid back down the hill a little bit because it doesn't lock. See? So we lost our place there. So that's where if you're trying to use it in a spot where you need a hold, you got to get that front end up and over, just like I did there, in a good position to where the front will hold you. And then you can kind of use it to change directions, to turn tighter, or whatever you're trying to use it for. As you can see, we're just pulling with the front. The rear is just kind of freewheeling. So if we want to completely change our direction and kind of pull to the right a little bit, we can try to do that with just the front. We're not really getting it done there. There we go. See how we pull it over to the right instead of going left? Now we can click back into four-wheel drive and go back to climbing. So it does help you in some cases. I'm just trying to show you here. This is not a great example, but the torque twist is a killer.
So after I took this out of the box and I seen that torque twist on the bench, I was very worried about the performance of this thing. And I did notice it at times out here, but this rough, chunky kind of rock terrain that I was running here, there wasn't a lot of straight inclines, long flat sections of incline where, as I showed in the demonstration there on the home course, where that torque twist really shows a lot. I could tell it was there sometimes. You'll notice on this next rock where it was really the first time that I kind of played around with the dig feature. Every now and then you'll notice that driver just kind of lifts a little bit, but it really didn't hurt the performance out here at all, in my opinion. I mean, I guess obviously it probably would have did a little bit better, but I never failed to make any line because of the twist. But it's definitely there. It's definitely an issue in the right situation. You'll notice on this rock right here, when I'm trying to climb in four-wheel drive, you will see the driver's side lift a little bit right there. See that? And so that's the couple places that I did kind of notice it was climbs like this. Now here you'll see me playing around with that dig. I lock the rear or disengage the rear, and I'm using that front to pull, and it's sucking that suspension into the rock. And every time I click it back into four-wheel drive, it kind of lifts. So I just kept that front pulling with the rear disengaged. It's kind of nice that it doesn't lock because I am able to pull up this a little bit. Whereas a full dig, you wouldn't really be able to do that. And then once it bites, I click back into four-wheel drive and it goes right up. And then I kind of go back to the disengage right here just to help me turn a little bit tighter and get where I want to be. So it's kind of nice that it doesn't fully lock at times. You can use a full dig to do exactly what I did to get started up that rock. But sometimes it's a little bit hard to drag the truck up the rock at all when the rear is locked. You can't really get a good pull up most of the time. You can get that suspension to kind of suck in and settle easier a lot of times, but it also hurts you sometimes because you can't get it to start up something where I was able to do it there. So it still works. It's just slightly different.
I'm definitely finding myself using the dig more than I thought I would, or the half dig, the disengaging of the rear end. And one thing I do like is I'm holding the camera with one hand, I'm driving with the other, one-handed here. It does come with this nice thumb wheel for the transmitter, so you're able to drive with one hand. And then the dig or disengage feature is right here, so I'm able to do it all with one hand. I can bump that to disengage or engage the rear while driving one-handed. Pretty sweet.
We started out, I was driving this truck and my father-in-law had the FCX24 you see behind me. And that truck is a pretty simple truck. And that's just how he really likes his builds to be. It's all stock, except for it has the extended kit on it, like the RC all-wheel drive or whatever. So it has the longer links in the rear, the longer metal drive shaft, so it's stretched out. It's sitting quite a bit lower with the smaller tires. Those are the Trail Warrior tires. It's a very good performing truck, but I do think the larger wheels and tires on the HPI really helped me out here a lot, because at times he just kind of struggled to keep up. Even the places where I thought that he would be able to do the inclines better, being as long as he is and kind of quite a bit lower overall, way less belly clearance. The HPI actually pulled those inclines just as well. So I was very impressed with how well it did against, what this FCX was doing behind it, being that it was set up so different. I think if we had been doing more like technical lines, the torque twist would have hurt me more, and him sitting lower and long like he is would have kind of helped him out more. So for this terrain, all of the clearance and flex and everything that I had going on just really worked well with the HPI. Now this incline right here, I really did think that he would handle this much better than I did, but I just kind of walked up it and he struggled a bit. So that was pretty surprising to me. I do like just having the single speed transmission in this truck. At times he was trying to click into high to give him a little bit more wheel speed, but you can notice when he's in high, he has a zero drag brake or zero hold going on because of the gearing. And that's where the HPI, just having the single speed, you have the good wheel speed, you have the good slow crawl, and you always have that good drag brake or good hold. Now here you'll see the servo. I'm putting this in a pretty good little spot, putting a lot of pressure on that front end, and I had no issues turning the large wheels and tires. The servo did great out here. I did stall it out one time where I had the truck just in an absolute mess where I needed to just pick it up and take it out. So it will stall, but in your normal running, it did great. I had no issues with that, but you'll see I just handled this big, massive chunk much better than the FCX was able to. Just having more travel, more flex, more clearance. The thing just worked great out here. I was just really surprised by how well it did handle and how the torque twist was not really an issue out here. I do know it will be an issue at times, but it wasn't an issue out here on this terrain. I could tell it was there at times, but it didn't stop me from doing anything. I know these trucks are quite a bit different, and it wasn't my goal to really compare these two. It just happened to be what we were running. We were just out having fun. He did kill his servo on the FCX eventually, and I gave him the juice up, and we went kind of back to back with this and the juice up. And we were both very surprised that this was doing everything that the juice up did, and I think a couple things that it couldn't do because I had the disengage or the lock, whatever dig you want to call it. I'll just call it dig. It's easier, okay? Dig from now on. It's just shorter and simpler. So having the dig a couple times, I was able to kind of catch a bite where he couldn't. But again, here's that clearance and just travel and everything. I mean, just putting this thing through awful situations, and it just kept on taking it and making its way. Just unreal how well this thing did out here.
Oh yeah. Ah, it caught you the same place it did me.
these are a couple of rocks where having an angled skid is pretty important. Now, obviously, the larger wheels and tires and extra travel help me here as well. I'm just kind of getting that front end over, but then once the front's over, I just kind of glide down that rock. So that's where an angled skid and just the setup of this truck worked really well out here on that rock and this one. Being able to just kind of go straight over these rocks, and you'll notice he just gets hung up on them. That's where, you know, there's no perfect setup for every terrain. You kind of have to adjust the truck to what you're running. You know, if you're going to come out here and run this type rock, you're probably going to want to be set up kind of the way the HPI is, you know, have all that crazy travel and stuff. Maybe don't limit your suspension as much and stuff. So that's why I'm always like, you know, there's really no perfect setup. There's no perfect tire, no perfect anything for every terrain or situation. It's kind of a trade-off. You kind of set your truck up for what you're running. Each of us run different types of terrain, and we all know what we're running and what works best for it usually. And so that's why sometimes when I say something works really well, maybe somebody tries it and it doesn't work for them. Well, maybe they're on a totally different type terrain than I am, or just different rock, period. But both of these trucks did really well out here. Not trying to knock the FCX at all. The thing did really well. And it was funny because my father-in-law loves that truck. And actually right here, this rock right here, getting this bounce up onto this is the one place where he really handled it much better than the HPI. And you'll just notice I'm just kind of bobbly. I'm sitting really high. I've got tons of clearance there. My belly's not even near dragging that rock. So trying to get that little bump, I was just kind of wobbly, and it really took me a long time. I cut some of it out of this because it took a long time for me to get the right bounce. Right there, I really should have had it. But I couldn't get it to go up. And then I try the dig right here, and it didn't catch with the front, and I rolled back down. So that's where not locking will hurt you at times. But I really struggled with this, and he was able to just kind of go right up it. And that's just where him being a little more settled with his suspension paid off. So, you know, it's a trade-off. You get all of that crazy clearance and flex and stuff. You do really good in some chunk, but then you come to something like this and you struggle. So you kind of got to find that perfect mix in between what works for you and line it out. So that's where I'm going to try to limit the suspension a little bit on the HPI. See how easy he caught that bounce. And it took me a while. Like I said, I cut some out, and then you can see I finally got the right bite. I was able to get up it. As I was saying about his FCX, he loves that truck. He loves it. And he really hasn't drove anything newer than it because he fell in love with it, and he didn't need anything else. And then when he killed his servo and he started driving the Juice Up, he was like, oh my gosh, this thing is so good. I think I may need one of these, you know? And like, so he was like, I love my little FCX, and I never thought I'd really needed anything else. And now I really kind of want one of these. So he was very impressed with the Juice Up, and the fact that this was doing everything the Juice Up was doing. So it just kind of shows how these trucks keep getting better. You know, in my opinion, when the FCX came out, like, it was one of the first trucks that I could go out and do this type of running with and not just immediately brake all the time.
Yeah, I thought you
the SCX 24, you know, we didn't have good axles at the time. We had the dog bones and stuff, and I'd go out trying to run this type stuff and just was snapping dog bones and braking all the time.
Right?
And then obviously we just kept getting better with those and better RTRs, and we just keep getting better and better. Speaking of breakage, this is where I do break the screw in the drive shaft. Like right here, I think I notice it. So I'm going to shut up and let you check this out.
Uh-oh. Oh, my drive shaft come loose.
Huh?
I was like, what's going on with it? Where'd it go? Oh, it's right there. So this is what happens when it's not a D-shaped drive shaft to fit the output shaft. It puts all of the pressure on the screw, and I think you can see there's threads in one end of this, but we broke the screw itself, so we were putting all the pressure on the screw and we just snapped the screw.
So it was a little bit of a pain, but actually not a bad failure point. I just ran a new screw in. The threads that were in the other end just kind of ran out as I ran the new screw in, so it wasn't really that big of an issue. Here you'll notice the torque twist and just lifting where that suspension is. We've got so much travel and we're just kind of sitting high. So if we suck that suspension in a little bit, it would help right here. I was able to kind of get a little bounce up there, and I think this rock, I played around with this line quite a bit, just kind of using the dig function, and it did help me out here. And you'll see, like, I'm able to kind of work my way back left to get where I want to be, and then up onto that rock. And it was just, I was very impressed with this line. Like, this is a really tough one that the FCX couldn't do, and I think it was mostly because of that dig function. Just trying to get a bite right here. When you're pushing with that rear, it pulls you into the hole deeper and just kind of loops you out. So I would disengage the rear and let the front bite a little bit and pull me right up. And I was actually so impressed with that. I just had to hit it again. This is a little better angle of it. And I sat here and just hit this line like 3 or 4 times because it was just so impressive that it was able to get through this, and just so fun to do, honestly. And that's one thing I love about this truck, is it's a new driving experience. You know, I've built my MOA build, the bird finger build, with the MOA front axle and then transmission with another motor in the center. That way I had the dig, but I didn't have the weight of the MOA axle in the rear. But that thing is very complicated. There's a lot to that, and you got to have a special transmitter to do the mixing and everything. This, you take it out of the box and you get that fun factor of playing with a new feature, the dig, and it does unlock some lines that normally you're not going to do, or you're going to struggle with a lot more. Just like this one. I think we could get over this with the juice up. We didn't try this one with the juice up. I think we could get it, but I don't know. It would definitely be tough getting this right here because it's hard to get that bite. I did finally work my way up this without using the dig, I believe, but I'm not sure. You'll see how I'm using it there, trying to get that front to bite and pull my suspension in a little bit, and I'm getting that twist, but most of that's because the rear is just in a hole, and that hole's pretty tough. But look at the front. I'm just trying to dig it in right there. I get enough hook that I click it back into 4-wheel drive, and boom, we go right up that. Just such a fun line, I'm telling you. So it's just like a new experience, and that fun factor is definitely there because of this dig. So I've got to give HPI major props for going this route, giving us something new.
It's so impressive. I've hit it like
even though the truck isn't perfect, in my opinion, it's that fun factor. It's just there. I had so much fun with this thing. I wish I had a spot like this at home, near home, like at home. And I mean, really, it's just a bunch of rock and some dirt. But I need to get me some big chunky rock like this or something, because this place was a blast. And this thing performed as well as anything that I've ever took out here, probably better than most things that I've ever took out here. Now, it's been a couple years since I've ran this spot. But this thing, man, I just wanted, unfortunately, this was our last day in Pigeon Forge, and so this was all of the running we got to do here, because I wanted to go back out there so bad with this truck because I just had so much fun with it.
There we go.
So that fun factor is 100% there. And for that reason alone, I'm going to recommend this truck. I love the look of it.
Yes.
I loved my time out with it. We're going to get some more time with it on the home course. We'll see how it does with a little more like technical, some side hilling and
Look at all the rocks
inclines and things like that, where I think it will struggle more. But for an all-around, just go out and mow through some rough stuff, like it definitely got it done out here. This is where the juice up comes in. We're kind of just running along, hitting some lines, seeing what we can do, having fun. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you guys watch these things run. And I appreciate you guys hanging out, watching the footage.
Ooh, it's a little jumpy.
Yeah, till you get used to it, it's very touchy. Dang. I'm gonna try to maybe hang my right rear on that rock and disengage that rear. I don't know if it's gonna work. If it was a dig, I could definitely do it.
Mess me up.
What are you trying to go left?
I was trying to
Come down off of it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My left rear slipped off of it.
I'm gonna disengage that rear and see if I can.
That's cool.
Wow, that was cool.
That was a good job.
Shoot, I've drove that one a lot. I know how it drives. It's really good.
Where to go now? Probably can't get up through here.
Bumped the trigger.
Huh?
I bumped reverse. I didn't mean to.
Are you recording?
Here, kidding me? I wish I'd have got that on video.
Can you believe that?
As soon as I stopped recording just to talk for a little bit,
I didn't even have to touch it.
you went up that.
Yeah, you right.
There ain't no way this thing's gonna go
Right,
up.
you right.
No, you ain't bothering me. I'm just trying to look and see where I was going.
Figure out where to go. Don't know where to go from there.
I can't believe you got up there.
Oh no. You're going to.
Maybe. That rock that's at my right rear like standing straight up. It's really messing with me. I can get. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
I can't believe they got through that. That's huge.
I like these little buggies better than my truck now. I did like it. Better than anything.
They just keep getting better. They really do.
Man, that thing there is fun. I wonder, I was looking.
Thing about it is, you can just drive out anytime you want.
I wonder if there's any like.
Go up that, drop off this.
Oh, sweet. Did you straighten up to go down there?
A little bit to the left is what I did, and then I just kind of jumped. Right as my front went to drop, I just punched it a little bit. Yeah. I don't know what's hanging me up.
I'm probably.
No.
Scared to
You're
move
good.
or it'll fall.
Yeah. There we go. Oh my. You handled that real well. I don't know about this transfer here.
Really stands you up. I wish I had my hand.
Ah, me too. Wish that rear would settle. I'm gonna get too far down. What?
I'm sliding.
I can't believe I made that hop. Oh, I think you can still save it. Yeah. Gosh. Nice. There's such a hole right there. Yes.
I'm turned the wrong way.
It's all right. You made it over there.
Don't slide farther down like that.
Now it'll pull you around probably. Yeah. Dang, that was wicked.
That's one bit.
lose it though. I don't know where to go.
I was getting kind of used to
Still
it.
dialing, yeah.
Now,
Just even when I go from this one to that one, it feels different. And they're actually the same, like,
the same
ESC in them, so it's very close. I just went on down the hill.
oh, my rock gave way. Oh, I don't want to do that.
I didn't really put you in the right spot, did I?
It's okay. I got a big. That rock moved.
Yeah.
As I was going down it, it moved.
Yes. I'll just spun those rocks out. It's probably gonna give you fits when you come down. That's good.
Thundering on your video.
Oh no!
It's a big rock. That helped.
Yeah.
It falls off.
Fell off, didn't it?
Oh, that didn't do
You
it.
fell in the same hole I did. Bringing it out.
Where am I going?
Turn right. I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I was gonna try to go down through there. Nice.
Who's gonna try to get on that rock?
I'm gonna try this again. I was gonna go like down through there,
Oh, yeah,
maybe.
that's what I was
Or yeah. You might even get up there. I don't
thinking. I
know.
don't think so. Well, you could, but there ain't nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. Yeah.
I think I can get down through there.
Man, that's some chunky stuff. Moving that rock, putting it in my way. I see how you are.
Help me. Where I'm going.
Or maybe up this and then over. Can't get that right front to go where you want it.
It's turn, but it throws you over that way.
There you go. Yeah. Oh my. Yes. Dang. Up there went the ants again. Stirred up the ants.
Do that.
I think so. Of course, I got to here and I can't get past it.
I kind of bounced after I got there. There you go. Boy, it held together after you fixed it, good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I just got to get that right rear to get off of that wall. That's kind of where you struggled. I guess turn into it maybe. Yeah. There we go.
You want to try to go up some more or start down?
Shoot, don't matter to me.
I was trying to come down this way.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Can't believe I made that.
There's no way I'm getting through there. Mostly because I don't think two people can get that lucky back to back. That was crazy. I mean,
That's what it was. Look.
you skilled it through there, but the luck of your tire hitting just right.
Everything just went perfect. You did it. I believe you're gonna do it. Yep. Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
That was probably my favorite crazy line that we did. It didn't even look that bad on video, but it was so wild that the width of the trucks fit perfectly for us to kind of work our way down through that gnarly stuff. It was just so gnarly. And I was just amazed at what these things can do and just how good these trucks have all become. And I told you there was a lot of running. I apologize for the really long video, but I felt like there was some really good crawling here, and I didn't want to leave it out. So if you guys are still here, you're amazing. You are unbelievable, and I really appreciate you hanging out and just hope you enjoyed the crawling.
Wow,
I do want to say thanks to the channel members. I appreciate you guys jumping on with that. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, check it out. I'll link it in the description. And lots of stuff coming up, guys. Tons of stuff coming up. I'm going to get to comparisons of all of these trucks, kind of just line for line at the home course. Going to work in the new Venture with the Apex and the Juice Up and all these sweet releases we've been getting. This one just has that fun factor. It's something new, and that's, you know, what we like to see. Is it perfect? No. I always say there's really no perfect RTR. I think it's kind of impossible. You know, like, you're not going to please everybody. There's no way you can just please everybody. So it is very, very fun. It does have that torque twist that really is its major downfall, but it did not stop me from having a blast. And you can tell it didn't stop this thing from just slaying some lines out here. Ran line for line with the Juice Up, had an absolute blast. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments. I appreciate you hanging out. Peace.
Oh, boy. Almost carried the momentum over it. There we go.
Now you decide.
Gosh.
Man, we done good.
You might be able to come down that gap. That's a big old drop.
Yeah, I don't see me saying that.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Oh, so close.
Almost. We'll say I did.
We'll say I did.
I'll let you get in front. You're gonna do it. Oh yeah. Good job. Awesome.
I had to use my steering just to bring me around there and down.